The engagement party is in full swing at the Riverside Country Club, with Parker and their fiancée mingling among family and friends. Sam stands near the appetizer table, wearing a carefully chosen dress that strikes the balance between supportive cousin and someone who's moved on from romantic disappointment. The past year has been about rebuilding, therapy, new friendships, and slowly learning to trust again after Taylor's sudden disappearance from their 3-year relationship. Jamie approaches with 2 glasses of champagne. "You're doing great, Sam. I know being at engagement parties isn't easy right now, but Parker really wanted you here." Sam accepts the champagne gratefully. "I'm actually okay. It's been a year since Taylor vanished, and I've done a lot of work on myself. I'm genuinely happy for Parker, and I'm not thinking about my own relationship disasters tonight." Avery joins them, looking slightly concerned. "Sam, don't look now, but I think I just saw someone who looks exactly like Taylor walk into the party." Sam's stomach drops, but they force a laugh. "That's impossible. Taylor doesn't know Parker, has never met my family, and wouldn't have any reason to be here. Plus, Taylor lives across the country now, remember?" Jamie squints toward the entrance. "Sam, I hate to say this, but Avery's right. That's definitely Taylor talking to your cousin right now." Sam turns around and feels the world tilt sideways. Taylor is indeed there, dressed impeccably in a navy suit, engaging Parker in animated conversation like they're old friends. Taylor looks exactly the same, confident, charming, completely at ease in social situations. The sight triggers a flood of memories and emotions that Sam thought had been processed and filed away. "What the hell is Taylor doing here?" Sam whispers, gripping the champagne glass so tightly that Jamie gently takes it away. Avery moves protectively closer. "Do you want to leave? We can make an excuse and get you out of here right now." Sam watches as Taylor laughs at something Parker says, that same infectious laugh that used to make Sam feel like the funniest person in the world. "No, I'm not running away. This is Parker's night, and I'm not going to let Taylor's presence ruin it for anyone." But even as Sam says this, their hands are shaking. The last communication from Taylor had been a text message saying they needed some space to figure things out before a planned vacation together. That was 13 months ago. No explanation, no closure, no response to Sam's increasingly desperate attempts to understand what had gone wrong. Taylor notices Sam across the room and waves, as casual as if they'd seen each other last week instead of disappearing without explanation for over a year. Taylor begins walking toward Sam's group, and Sam feels panic rising. "Breathe," Jamie murmurs. "You don't owe Taylor anything. You don't have to be polite, you don't have to pretend everything is fine, and you don't have to listen to whatever Taylor has to say." But before Sam can respond, Taylor is standing in front of them with that familiar smile that used to make Sam's heart race, and now just makes them feel sick. "Sam, you look incredible. I was hoping I'd see you here." Sam stares at Taylor, 1,000 questions and accusations swirling in their mind, but all that comes out is, "What are you doing here, Taylor?" Taylor's smile falters slightly. "Parker invited me. We met through a mutual business contact a few months ago, and when Parker mentioned having a cousin named Sam, I put 2 and 2 together. I asked if I could come tonight because I wanted to see you." Jamie steps forward. "You wanted to see Sam? That's interesting, considering you ghosted them for an entire year without explanation." Taylor's charm remains intact, but there's something calculated behind it now. "I know I handled things poorly before. I was going through a lot of personal stuff, and I wasn't ready for the commitment that Sam deserved. But I've done a lot of growing over the past year." Avery crosses their arms. "Growing? Is that what we're calling abandoning someone you claim to love, without even the courtesy of a real breakup?" Sam finds their voice, though it's shakier than they'd like. "Taylor, you don't get to show up at my family events and act like we're old friends catching up. You disappeared. You left me wondering what I did wrong for months. You don't get to just appear and expect everything to be normal." Taylor's expression becomes more serious, more contrite. "You're absolutely right, Sam. What I did was terrible and I know I hurt you. That's actually why I'm here. I want to make it right." Before Sam can respond, Parker approaches with a bright smile, oblivious to the tension. "Sam, I see you've met Taylor. Taylor was just telling me the sweetest stories about your relationship. I had no idea you 2 knew each other." Sam looks between Parker and Taylor, feeling manipulated and trapped. Parker, can we talk privately for a minute? But Taylor smoothly interjects. Actually, Parker, would it be okay if I borrowed the microphone for just a moment? There's something I need to say. Parker claps their hands together excitedly. Of course. Everyone loves a good speech at parties. Sam's blood runs cold. Taylor, what are you doing? Taylor takes Sam's hand, and Sam is too shocked to pull away. Trust me, Sam. I know I don't deserve it, but trust me for just 5 minutes. Before Sam can protest, Taylor is walking toward the small stage area where the DJ is set up, still holding Sam's hand, effectively dragging them along. The room begins to quiet as people notice the movement toward the microphone. Jamie and Avery try to follow, but the crowd shifts and they're suddenly separated from Sam by dozens of party guests who are curious about what's happening. Taylor takes the microphone with practiced ease. I'm sorry to interrupt the celebration, but I have something important to say. For those who don't know me, I'm Taylor, and I'm deeply in love with Sam. Sam tries to step back, but Taylor's grip on their hand tightens. Sam looks out at the crowd and sees their family members looking confused but interested, Parker beaming with excitement, and Jamie and Avery pushing through the crowd with worried expressions. A year ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Taylor continues, voice carrying perfectly through the room. I got scared of how much I loved Sam and I ran away. I thought I needed time and space, but what I really needed was the courage to commit to the most amazing person I've ever met. The crowd is fully attentive now, and Sam realizes with horror that this is becoming a public spectacle. They try to pull their hand free, but Taylor holds firm and continues speaking. Sam, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I hurt you in ways that might be unforgivable. But I also know that I love you more than I've ever loved anyone. And I want to spend the rest of my life making up for the year I wasted being afraid. Sam's parent, Riley, pushes forward through the crowd, clearly concerned about what's happening to their child. Jamie and Avery are also getting closer. But the crowd is thick and everyone is focused on the unfolding drama. Taylor suddenly drops to one knee, still holding Sam's hand, and produces a ring box from their jacket pocket. The crowd gasps collectively, and Sam feels the world spinning. Sam, will you marry me? The room erupts in excited whispers and anticipatory silence. Sam looks down at Taylor, then out at the sea of expectant faces, family members, Parker's friends, people they don't even know, all waiting for their response to this public proposal from someone who abandoned them without explanation. Sam's mind races through a tornado of emotions: rage at being manipulated, humiliation at being put on the spot, confusion about Taylor's motivations, and underneath it all, a small voice wondering if maybe Taylor really has changed and this is genuine. Taylor, get up, Sam says quietly, but the microphone picks it up and broadcasts it to the room. Taylor stays on one knee. Sam, I know this is sudden, but I couldn't wait another day to tell you how I feel. I've been miserable without you. I made a terrible mistake and I want to fix it. Sam looks at Parker, who is watching with tears in their eyes, clearly thinking this is the most romantic thing ever. Sam sees Riley pushing more urgently through the crowd, Jamie's face full of anger and concern, and Avery trying to get to the stage area. The pressure of all those watching eyes, the weight of expectation, and the shock of seeing Taylor again after a year of silence crashes over Sam. They pull their hand free from Taylor's grip and step back from the microphone. I need a minute, Sam says, and rushes off the small stage area, pushing through the crowd toward the exit. Jamie and Avery immediately follow, catching up with Sam just outside the country club entrance. Riley arrives moments later looking furious. What the hell was that? Jamie demands, not about Sam but about the situation. Who proposes to someone they ghosted? In public? At someone else's party? Sam is shaking, leaning against the building for support. I can't breathe. I can't think. What just happened in there? Riley puts an arm around Sam. What happened is that Taylor manipulated you and an entire room full of people. That wasn't romantic, honey. That was calculated and cruel. Avery paces angrily. Taylor knew exactly what they were doing. They knew that proposing in public at your family event would put pressure on you to say yes. They knew you wouldn't want to cause a scene or ruin Parker's party. Sam looks back toward the building, where they can see people gathered near the windows, clearly talking about what just happened. Everyone in there thinks I'm crazy for not immediately saying yes to someone who claims to love me. Jamie sits down next to Sam on a bench outside the entrance. Sam, everyone in there doesn't know that Taylor disappeared from your life for 13 months without explanation. They don't know about the therapy sessions, the sleepless nights, the months of wondering what you did wrong. Riley nods grimly. And Taylor is counting on that. Taylor is counting on you feeling pressured by social expectations and family dynamics to give them what they want. Sam puts their head in their hands. But what if Taylor really has changed? What if they genuinely realize they made a mistake and want to fix it? Avery stops pacing and looks at Sam seriously. Sam, even if Taylor has changed, even if they've genuinely realized they made a mistake, the way they're going about this is still manipulative. If Taylor really respected you and wanted to make amends, they would have reached out privately, apologized properly, and given you time and space to process their return to your life. Instead, Jamie adds, they engineered a public situation where you'd feel maximum pressure to give them what they want, regardless of your own feelings or readiness. Sam looks up at their support system and feels grateful but also overwhelmed. So what do I do now? I have to go back in there eventually. Parker's engagement party is ruined, everyone is staring at me, and Taylor is probably still in there with that ring box. Riley squeezes Sam's shoulder. We go back in there together. You politely but firmly tell Taylor that you need time to process this and won't be giving an answer tonight, and then we focus on celebrating Parker. And if Taylor pushes for an immediate answer? Sam asks. Jamie's expression hardens. Then we make it clear that the answer is no, and Taylor needs to leave. When they return to the party, the atmosphere has shifted noticeably. People are clustered in small groups, clearly discussing what they witnessed. Parker rushes over immediately, looking concerned and confused. Sam, are you okay? Taylor is looking for you, and everyone is wondering what's happening. Sam takes a deep breath. Parker, I'm sorry this happened at your party. This should be about you and your engagement, not about my complicated history with Taylor. Parker looks torn between concern for Sam and excitement about what they perceive as a romantic gesture. But Taylor seems so sincere. And the proposal was so romantic. Maybe you should give Taylor a chance to explain. Before Sam can respond, Taylor appears, looking concerned and slightly desperate. Sam, can we please talk privately? I know that was overwhelming, but I meant every word I said. Riley steps protectively closer to Sam. I don't think Sam is ready for a private conversation right now, Taylor. Perhaps you should give them some space. Taylor's charm falters slightly, revealing something harder underneath. With all due respect, this is between Sam and me. We're adults and we can handle our own relationship. Relationship? Jamie interjects. You mean the relationship you ended by disappearing for a year without explanation? Taylor's jaw tightens. I made mistakes, but I'm here now trying to fix them. Sam, please. Just give me 5 minutes to explain. Sam looks at Taylor, seeing both the person they once loved and the person who caused them immense pain. Taylor, you want to explain? Fine. But not privately and not tonight. You ambushed me at my cousin's engagement party, put me on the spot in front of my entire family, and now you want me to drop everything to listen to your explanations. Taylor's expression shifts, becoming more manipulative. Sam, I love you. I made a mistake, but I'm here now ready to commit. Isn't that what you wanted? The question hangs in the air. And Sam realizes this is the crux of Taylor's manipulation. Taylor is trying to make it seem like Sam is being unreasonable for not immediately accepting this grand romantic gesture. Sam straightens up, finding strength in their anger. What I wanted, Taylor, was honesty. What I wanted was respect. What I wanted was a partner who would communicate with me instead of disappearing when things got serious. What you're offering me now isn't love, it's manipulation wrapped in a pretty speech and an expensive ring. Taylor's mask slips completely now, revealing frustration and entitlement. So you're saying no? After everything we had together, you're going to let pride get in the way of us being happy? Pride? Sam feels their voice rising. Taylor, you ghosted me for 13 months. You left me wondering what I did wrong, questioning my worth, and spending thousands of dollars on therapy to recover from the abandonment. This isn't about pride. This is about self-respect. The nearby crowd has grown quiet again, listening to this more honest conversation. Parker looks uncomfortable, finally realizing this isn't the romantic reunion they thought it was. Taylor tries one more tactic. Sam, I know I hurt you, but people make mistakes. Are you really going to throw away what we could have together because I needed time to grow up? Sam looks around at their family and friends, at the people who supported them through the darkest period after Taylor's disappearance, and feels clarity wash over them. Taylor, you didn't need time to grow up. You needed time to decide whether I was worth committing to, and you decided I wasn't. For 13 months, your answer was that I wasn't worth a phone call, a text message, or even a basic explanation. Now you want me to believe that's changed because you've decided you're ready. Taylor's composure is completely gone now. Fine, Sam. Have it your way. But don't come crying to me when you realize you've made a huge mistake. The comment reveals Taylor's true character more clearly than anything else could have. Jamie steps forward, no longer holding back. And there it is. Taylor, you just showed everyone here exactly why Sam is making the right choice. You don't love Sam. You love the idea of Sam and you love having control. Real love doesn't come with threats and manipulation. Taylor looks around the room, realizing that the audience is no longer sympathetic. The public proposal that was supposed to pressure Sam into compliance has instead revealed Taylor's true nature to everyone present. Riley speaks up, voice calm but firm. Taylor, I think it's time for you to leave. This is a family celebration, and you've caused enough disruption. Taylor straightens their suit jacket, attempting to regain some dignity. Fine. But Sam, when you change your mind, and you will, don't expect me to wait around forever. After Taylor leaves, the party slowly returns to its celebratory atmosphere, though there's an undercurrent of concern for Sam. Parker approaches cautiously. Sam, I'm so sorry. I had no idea about the history between you two. Taylor made it sound like you were just going through a rough patch. Sam hugs Parker. It's not your fault. Taylor is very good at presenting themselves in whatever light serves their purposes. I'm just sorry your engagement party got hijacked by my drama. Parker shakes their head. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. That took real courage. Later that evening, back at Sam's apartment, Jamie, Avery, and Sam debrief the night's events. Sam sits curled up on the couch, emotionally exhausted but also strangely relieved. I keep thinking about what might have happened if I'd said yes, Sam muses. If I'd gotten caught up in the public pressure and the idea that this was romantic. Avery brings over tea and sits down. You would have been engaged to someone who had already proven they'd abandon you when things got difficult. Someone who thought manipulation was an acceptable way to get what they wanted. Jamie nods. And someone who felt entitled to forgiveness without doing any of the actual work of making amends. Real apologies don't come with public pressure and ultimatums. Sam sips their tea thoughtfully. The thing is, part of me did want to believe it was real. Part of me wanted to believe that Taylor had genuinely changed, and that this was some grand romantic gesture proving their love. That's completely normal, Avery reassures them. You loved Taylor for 3 years. It's natural to want closure, and to hope that the relationship meant something to them too. But, Jamie adds, real change doesn't look like public manipulation. Real change would have looked like Taylor reaching out privately, taking full responsibility for their actions, and giving you space to process their apology without any pressure or expectations. Sam sets down their teacup. You know what's weird? I actually feel better now than I did this morning. For a year, I wondered if maybe I was overreacting to Taylor's disappearance. Maybe I was too sensitive. Maybe I should have been more understanding. And now, Avery prompts. Now I know that my feelings were completely valid. Taylor's behavior tonight proved that they haven't changed at all. They're still manipulative, still entitled, and still unwilling to take real responsibility for their actions. Jamie smiles. And you handled it perfectly. You didn't let social pressure override your boundaries. You didn't let Taylor manipulate you into giving them what they wanted. And you stood up for yourself in front of everyone. Over the following days, Sam deals with the aftermath of the public proposal. Some family members who weren't at the party hear secondhand accounts and reach out with opinions about whether Sam made the right choice. Most are supportive once they understand the full situation, but a few suggest that maybe Sam should have given Taylor another chance. Riley calls Sam to check in. How are you handling the family feedback? Sam sighs. It's mixed. Most people understand once they know the whole story. But Aunt Carol thinks I'm being too harsh and that everyone deserves a second chance. Aunt Carol doesn't know what she's talking about, Riley says firmly. Second chances are earned through changed behavior and genuine amends, not through public manipulation. Sam's therapist, Dr. Martinez, helps them process the experience during their next session. How did it feel to maintain your boundaries under such public pressure? Dr. Martinez asks. Sam considers the question. Terrifying at first, but ultimately empowering. A year ago, before Taylor disappeared, I don't think I would have been strong enough to say no in that situation. I would have gotten swept up in the romance of it all and ignored the red flags. What's different now? I know my worth. I know what I deserve in a relationship. And I know that love shouldn't come with manipulation, abandonment, or public pressure. Dr. Martinez nods approvingly. That's significant growth, Sam. You trusted your instincts and protected yourself, even when it was difficult and socially awkward. A week after the engagement party, Sam receives a text from an unknown number. The message is from Drew, Taylor's best friend, asking if they can meet for coffee. Sam is hesitant but curious enough to agree. Drew looks uncomfortable when they meet at a downtown cafe. Sam, I wanted to apologize for Taylor's behavior at the party. I heard about what happened, and I'm embarrassed that my friend acted that way. Sam stirs their coffee. Drew, you don't need to apologize for Taylor's actions. But I am curious. Did you know about Taylor's plan to propose? Drew nods reluctantly. Taylor told me about it a few days before the party. I tried to talk Taylor out of it, said it was a bad idea to ambush you like that, especially after the way things ended between you two. What did Taylor say? Taylor was convinced that you were just hurt and that if Taylor made a grand enough gesture, you'd forgive everything and take them back. Taylor said the public setting would show how serious they were about commitment. Sam shakes their head. Did Taylor ever acknowledge that disappearing for a year was wrong? Drew is quiet for a long moment. Not really. Taylor framed it as needing space to become the person you deserved. Taylor never really took responsibility for the pain it caused you. This confirms what Sam already suspected, that Taylor's proposal wasn't based on genuine change or understanding, but on a calculated belief that the right gesture could override the need for real accountability. Drew, can I ask you something? In the year that Taylor was gone, did Taylor ever express regret about how they handled things? Did they ever talk about wanting to reach out and explain? Drew looks even more uncomfortable. Sam, I don't think you want to know the answer to that. Actually, I do. I need to know. Drew sighs. Taylor dated other people during that year. Taylor talked about you sometimes, but it was usually in the context of how the relationship had gotten too serious too fast, and how Taylor felt trapped by your expectations. Sam feels a stab of pain but also validation. So Taylor wasn't spending the year missing me and growing as a person. Taylor was dating other people and blaming me for wanting commitment. I'm sorry, Sam. I know that's painful to hear. Sam takes a deep breath. Actually, it's helpful. It confirms that my instincts about the proposal were right. Taylor wasn't proposing because they'd realized they made a mistake. Taylor was proposing because whatever they'd been doing for the past year wasn't working out, and they decided I was a safe fallback option. Drew nods sadly. I think you're right. And I think you made the right choice in saying no. After Drew leaves, Sam calls Jamie to share what they'd learned. I'm proud of you for meeting with Drew, Jamie says. That took courage, and now you have complete closure about Taylor's motivations. It's strange, Sam reflects. Part of me wishes I could go back and tell my past self not to waste so much energy wondering what I did wrong or hoping Taylor would come back with a real explanation. But you needed to go through that process to get to where you are now, Jamie points out. You needed to heal from the abandonment and learn to trust your own worth again. Otherwise, you might have fallen for Taylor's manipulation. Sam smiles, feeling lighter than they have in months. You're right. And honestly, I'm grateful this happened the way it did. If Taylor had approached me privately with a more subtle manipulation, I might have been more vulnerable to it. But the public proposal was so obviously wrong that it clarified everything for me. Several months later, Sam runs into Parker at a family gathering. Parker approaches with some hesitation. Sam, I owe you an apology. I was so caught up in the idea of romance that I didn't see how manipulative Taylor's proposal was. I should have supported you instead of pressuring you to give Taylor a chance. Sam hugs Parker warmly. You don't need to apologize. You didn't know the full story, and Taylor is very good at presenting themselves in the best possible light. Parker smiles with relief. Have you heard anything from Taylor since then? No, and I hope it stays that way. I've moved on and I'm in a much better place now. This is true. Sam has been focusing on their career, strengthening friendships, and slowly opening up to the possibility of dating again. They've learned to recognize red flags earlier and to trust their instincts about people's character and motivations. A few weeks later, Sam goes on a first date with someone they met through work. The person is kind, communicative, and respectful of Sam's boundaries. When Sam mentions that they're taking things slowly because of past relationship trauma, their date is understanding and supportive. I believe in earning trust gradually, their date says. Real relationships are built on consistent actions over time, not grand gestures. Sam smiles, thinking about how different this approach is from Taylor's manipulation. I completely agree. As Sam walks home from the date, they reflect on how much they've grown since Taylor's dramatic proposal attempt. They've learned that love without respect is not love at all, that grand gestures can't substitute for consistent kindness and reliability, and that their instincts about people's character are worth trusting. The experience with Taylor was painful, but it taught Sam valuable lessons about manipulation, social pressure, and their own strength. They no longer wonder what they did wrong to make Taylor leave, because they understand that Taylor's actions reflected Taylor's character, not their own worth. Sam pulls out their phone to text Jamie and Avery about the successful first date, feeling grateful for the friends who supported them through the darkest period and celebrated their growth. The text starts with, "Update. I think I'm ready to trust again and it feels amazing." In the distance, the city lights twinkle with possibility, and Sam walks home with confidence, knowing that they've learned to recognize the difference between manipulation disguised as love and the real thing. Taylor's public proposal, meant to pressure them into a commitment they weren't ready for, has instead become a catalyst for understanding their own worth and never settling for less than they deserve. The silence that followed Taylor's disappearance had been painful, but it had also been the space Sam needed to heal and grow. Now, the prospect of new love built on genuine respect and communication feels not like a risk, but like a gift they've earned by learning to value themselves.